Protecting Florida's waterways, helping stop water pollution. A problem that I've experienced firsthand in the Suncoast region and throughout the state of Florida is water pollution. Water pollution has been a major issue for many years in Florida and throughout the United States. Florida's beautiful waterways are constantly being polluted with trash, pesticides, and other chemicals, causing harm to the wildlife that live in and around them. Water pollution has many negative effects on marine life and other wildlife living near the water. Pollution decreases the oxygen levels in the water, causing fish to die. Birds then try to eat those poisoned fish and also become sick or die. And as this wildlife dies, it washes up onto beaches, creating an awful smell and forcing someone to come clean up the mess. Overall, water pollution depletes our natural resources. I personally am very passionate about fishing and really care about protecting our waterways and keeping them as clean as possible. I want to help preserve our natural resources so that the coming generations can enjoy using them as much as I do. Fertilizers and pesticides used in agricultural farms, homeowners' lawns, and roadsides are a serious threat to the natural water source. When these chemicals run off into local streams or rivers, or when drained down into groundwater, they contaminate this water completely. Pesticides and fertilizers also cause the dissolved oxygen in the water to diminish, and therefore fish and other aquatic species don't have enough oxygen to breathe. Pesticides are potentially toxic to humans and can have chronic health effects depending on how a person is exposed. These chemicals can pollute drinking water, groundwater, and surface water. So it's important to consider the long-term effects of using them. Algae blooms appear to be a normal occurrence without any cause for panic. However, the fact is that red algae blooms, also known as red tide, are extremely deadly to marine life. Red tide causes major fish kills each year in certain areas of Florida, including the Tampa Bay area. Due to water contamination in Florida, the algae blooms have resulted in severe decline of the shellfish and other fish populations, and as a result, many fishermen have been rendered jobless. Pictured here are some of the effects of red tide. As you can see, the reddish, brownish algae in the water that's washing up onto the shore, and then the dead fish that have washed up onto the shore and are being cleaned up. But the effects of red tide are devastating to marine life and even to people. Each year, around a quarter of the beaches in Florida and many other beaches around the United States are shut down because of water contamination and algae blooms such as red tide. Closing the beaches is a big step as it affects the economy. Jobs are hit because tourism suffers, and in turn the quality of life is also adversely impacted. Lake Okeechobee is the largest lake in the state of Florida. It covers more than 730 square miles and is an amazing fishery. Unfortunately, it's also the most polluted lake in the state, as tons of fertilizers, pesticides, and other chemicals are constantly being dumped into the lake, killing aquatic vegetation and wildlife. There are multiple canals that connect Lake Okeechobee to the ocean, both the Atlantic and the Gulf of Mexico. So not only do the chemicals in the lake affect the lake itself, but also affect marine life on the coast. For years, chemical weed killer has been a part of nearly everyone's lawn care routine. Roundup, for example, is one of the most heavily used pesticides. And not only is it a killer of all plants and other yard growth, but a killer of a variety of marine life. Most people don't realize the harm that Roundup and other common pesticides are causing to the environment. One easy way that our community can help reduce the amount of pollution that is dumped into our waterways is by not using pesticides, herbicides, and other chemicals to kill weeds and other unwanted vegetation in our yards. By removing yard weeds by hand or using some other form of weed killer that is much more earth-friendly and doesn't harm the environment or marine life, people can help reduce the amount of pollution dumped into our waterways. So let's think twice before simply using traditional weed killers on our lawns and gardens in the future. Let's help preserve our natural resources for generations to come.